All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back here to a very special episode here on BCP Plus. We're going to take a quick look back at the stellar wrestling over this past weekend. NXT Battleground, of course, Saturday night's main event. Guys, join the chat, share the stream. I think we're ready to go this time as we have a lot to talk about it. And in the words of Trick Williams, well, let's talk about it. Lots to talk about here. Don't want to bury the lead. I'll share the stream out as well. Guys, let's talk about this match right here. History was indeed made as, of course, Trick Williams becomes your new TNA World, that's right, champion. What did you guys think about this? I did not have this on my bingo card, if I'm being honest, guys. Please let me know your thoughts. Share the stream. Let's get the chat going. And again, real quick, want to thank all those, of course, who have served in the military, Army, Navy, of course, Memorial Day weekend, hoping everyone gets to spend some time with their family. And again, thank you to those who have served, as we had a great weekend of pro wrestling as well. And let's start again with Battleground. Again, history made as Trick Williams becomes your new TNA World Champion. That championship is no longer over the shoulder of Joe Henry, who, let's be real, has been carrying TNA on his shoulder. And that's not a knock on anyone else in the company. They've been doing a fantastic job, all of them. I think it's a very special roster, but Joe Henry particularly has been going the extra mile, doing all the media. We've talked to him a few times here on BCP Plus, traveling the world. I don't think he's been back home too often at all, really. Doing a lot, as Kelvin said on our predictions panel, being an ambassador for TNA. And for those reasons, I did not think that title was going to change hands. And I will also say this, and Kelvin, I believe you're a vet as well. Jeffrey, I believe as well. So thank you guys, of course, for serving. I want to give you guys your flowers. And of course, today we remember those, that we lost here in Memorial Day weekend. We remember those for sure. But thank you, of course, to all the vets as well and those who served. But Kelvin, I'm glad you're in the chat here. Jeffrey, too. I'll get to you guys in just a moment as we talk about this history monumental making match here where Trick was able to pin Joe Henry. Kelvin, we did not have this on our bingo card. But man, due to some sneakiness by Trick Williams, they went this way. And I will be a man of my word. Tim Rosen in our chat, he was saying that Trick was going to get it here, and we said no way. And I owe you beer. I owe you beer, Tim. It's Slammiversary, July 20th here in the New York area. I think it's at UBS Arena over in Long Island. I owe you beer, and I will buy you a brewski. Because I was way off. I did not think this would happen. And what do you guys think in the chat real quick? I'll get to the chat. Does this hurt Joe Henry? Does this hurt TNA? We're talking about the match at WrestleMania. I know there are a lot of opinions about his match with Randy Orton. I thought it was perfect and great and a rite of passage in a lot of ways. I think Joe has just been great in every way. Does this garner sympathy for Joe? I think this might be the turning of the page, a new chapter for Joe Henry. So I think there's a silver lining here. Is this good for TNA? Does this hurt TNA? What do you guys think in the chat? Let's go to the chat real quick. I certainly have my thoughts. Jeffrey in the chat saying he figured it out, didn't touch the red button. Yeah, we had some tech difficulties. I was trying to no sell it, but that's okay. We do our best here, Jeffrey. You know that. And again, Kelvin, happy Memorial Day. Thank you to all those who have served. Jeffrey in the chat, what do we got? It's a bad decision to put the belt on Trick. Okay, but if people are going to acknowledge Trick as the TNA champion, then you must also recognize Kenny Omega as the TNA champion. Yeah, I think that's a fair point. That's a fair point. I haven't been keeping up with AEW as of late, but that's a really fair point. That has crossed my mind for sure. Omega, I think it was Christian at the time, I think was the feud. But Omega, when he's collecting all the belts, he had the Impact title, I believe it was at that time. Was collected by him. John Blaine around the ropes. John, what did you think? What did you think? John, Joe Henry losing the TNA title. What did you think? John Blaine in the chat saying, I don't think it hurts TNA and maybe we get a more serious side of Joe Henry. Yeah, I like that, John. Like maybe a garner sympathy, like to see his range emotionally. We've seen the cookie cutter baby face. We've seen his musical and artistic talents. We've seen how well he handles himself with the media. We've seen his work ethic. Can we see a little more frustration? Can we see sadness? Can we see regret? I think that's a great point, John. What do you guys think? For me personally, I don't want to say it hurts Joe, because I mean I can't say enough good things about Joe Henry, but it perhaps garners sympathy. It perhaps will show a new side of Joe Henry. It's not like he's the guy who wins a championship and just defeats everybody. But it stung a little. I'm not gonna lie, Kelvin. I'm gonna get to your comment in just 1 second. It stung a little bit, not just because I was wrong on the predictions panel, but I was shocked. Does this give a feeling of WWE slash NXT is better than TNA? They showed the TNA president ringside with that disdain on his face. What did you guys think of that? What did you make of that? That being said, Trick, total deserving champion. Huge fan of Trick for a long time. Interchangeable babyface or heel. I'm liking seeing his range right now. Again, another very good musician. We saw him rapping on the last NXT episode. I like seeing Trick with gold. I don't hate that he has this title. It's strange. It's weird. They went there. They did this. But I can't say enough good things about Trick. I really can't. The guy's got all the tools. Looks like a star. Talks like a star. Walks like a star. Can rap. Has the killer entrance. Can get it done in the ring. There were a few clunky spots in this match, noticeably. And that's just me nitpicking. It was really solid. But there were a couple of shots I was like, oh, is Joe hurt? I don't know if they worked me on that one. But solid match. And I think Trick is a deserving champion. It's just, does this give the feeling that TNA is less than, or we remember that interaction where Obafemi was defending the so much wrestling, the NXT championship against the X Division champion Moose at Madison Square Garden. I was there, and Undertaker had that backstage segment with Obafemi. It's like, hey, you know what this means? You can't lose this title. Like, this is our house. Like, you can't lose this title. This is our championship. So even though it wasn't TNA's house last night, it was TNA's championship. So does the same thing apply? Also, I digress here, but Undertaker's had 1 or 2 interactions with Obafemi, which I think counts for something. So keep your eye on that. Let's take it to the chat, guys. Kelvin in the chat, I hated this for Joe. Yeah, it stings, Kelvin. I get that. I don't think it hurts Joe or TNA because we've seen this with Kenny Omega and the belt collector days. Sure, it does make me angry for Joe. I hope he gets angry. I will send you money for beer. You don't have to, Kelvin. I appreciate you getting my back, your real one, and I appreciate you owning up to it like I am. I will take the fall on this one, Kelvin, but I appreciate you, man. You're a real one, man. You send me $0, my man. Just come on the next podcast soon, man. And you're a real one always, Kelvin. That popped me. John in the chat, John Blaine, he can go back to chasing and maybe the TNA locker room. Doubts Joe. Yeah, does he chase Trick here? I kind of like that second part, John, about the TNA locker room. I want to see that interaction on Impact on Thursday. I want to see how they treat him. I've seen some of the tweets out on social media for some of the TNA rosters. Like, what? Like, what happened? How could this happen? So we got Patrick Nelson. Yeah, I really like this one. He said NXT events never fail me. And Patrick also saying 10 out of 10, a perfect score. I really like this one, and this may be the show I was hyped for. There's not a knock on other shows or brands or blue or red or whatever. Like, this show I was looking so forward to. And there were some really good matches. The matches I thought would steal the show did steal the show. So I think for me overall, and Patrick, thanks for chiming in. If you haven't already, please give us a sub over on BCP Plus on YouTube. Just head on over. You can check out our interview. Kelvin sat down with the Hardys. It was a great recent interview with Joe Henry. Check that out. We appreciate the support. And thank you guys for chiming in. I hope you guys have been eating some good food and spend some time with your family this weekend. Got off from work. Again, thank you all who served on this Memorial Day weekend, this Memorial Day. All right, guys. Speaking of some show stealers real quick, and we are going to get to Saturday night's main event as well. This match, I knew it was going to be good. Potential show stealer. They tried a lot of stuff. This was your flippy match. This was your high fly match. When I see stuff I haven't seen before, that's what really pops me. And I thought this match was fantastic. I wish it was longer. I wish there was more to this. But what an opener. I have nothing but great things to say. Obviously, the Zarya interaction was interesting where she didn't interfere, but kind of, I mean, I guess that's technically interfering, rolling her friend Solruka out of the way of the high diving attack. Zarya gets ejected. I think we all think Zarya is targeting Solruka, always looking at that title belt. I want to see more vicious side, no pun intended, a vicious side of Zarya. I want to see her unleashed. Also, Kalani Jordan came out, looked great. I love the look, but a different demeanor at times. I kind of want to explore that a little bit. She did have that sit down interview on the pre-show as well. So check that out if you guys haven't already. What did you guys think about these NXT Battleground matches? And keep the Joe Henry stuff coming. It's a monumental, historic title change, as well as all your thoughts on NXT Battleground. Let's keep it going, guys. Share the stream. Thank you for joining us in the chat. Catching up here. Patrick Nelson in the chat saying, what does this mean for Trick Williams? Is he going to be weekly on Impact and NXT? I think we're going to see him on both. I think he has to be on Impact. I don't think this would, from a business standpoint, not a storyline, from a business standpoint, I don't think this would be allowed to go through or happen. It's helping TNA. It's more eyes on TNA. It's new eyes on TNA. So I think Trick is kind of that conduit to bring you from NXT, WWE to TNA. If you haven't already, we'll be seeing a lot of that. So I think we'll see him on both. I think we might see Trick at Slammiversary. Maybe we get that rematch at Slammiversary July 20th here in our area. That'll be at UBS. Excuse me, guys. Arena. Pardon me. UBS Arena. John Blaine from Around the Ropes podcast in the chat. They doubt him because he lost his last 2 WWE appearances. Maybe this leads to War Games to take over. Interesting, going War Games from here. You're talking about Joe, I believe here. Joe and War Game. You never know. You never know. I just hope Joe gets that match with Cena. Honestly, I thought maybe they're same place, same time this weekend. Maybe we see Joe sitting at ringside Saturday night's main event. We just need them to cross paths on camera because all the stuff's been behind the scenes and John putting Joe over in interviews or John giving advice to Joe backstage, as Joe has said in many interviews. So fortune favors the bold, and I'd like to see Joe Henry cross paths with Cena, but Joe's got a whole new problem on his plate here. Jeffrey T. Fountain in the chat. I kind of felt it was mid minus opener. Oh, mid, like MJF mid. But Double or Nothing outshined it by a small. I have nothing to compare it to. I didn't see Double or Nothing. Let me know how it was. Were there some show stealers there on that card? I've fallen off a bit. So let me know how Double or Nothing was for sure. Patrick saying yesterday was good. The Knicks won. I missed the Knicks. I completely forgot the Knicks game. I'm a Nets fan, but still I would have liked to watch that. I was hanging with family, so glad to see the Knicks get a dub. And then one of your favorite wrestlers won. What's better than that? It's a good day, Patrick. That's a good day. And Patrick also agreeing, I think Zarya will most likely turn on Solruka. It's there. It's almost painfully obvious that I feel like they're stretching it. Maybe they'll go a different direction. I hate being cliche, but it seems like it's there. But I want to see that Solruka is a clear-cut, cookie-cutter baby face. No need to change her. There's been a lot of heel turns in WWE. I've been very critical of that. Cautiously optimistic is the word right now. I'm not concerned yet, but I'm keeping my eye on that. But Zarya needs to be unleashed for sure. I want to see that more vicious side. Kelvin saying Kalani Jordan is hands down the best wrestler on NXT's roster. Ooh, I mean, I'm waving that Stephanie Vicaire flag right now. And we'll get into that in a little bit. Man, I picked against her, Kelvin. I feel so guilty. I really do. We'll get into that in a little bit, Kelvin. But Kalani is so good. And Kelvin saying she's ready. She's ready. Who do you guys think is the best on the NXT roster? That's a great point, Kelvin. I like Kalani a lot. Kelvin, here come the theories. What if Joe encounters Cena and actually wins the WWE Championship while on the TNA roster? Oh, man, we're getting it. I mean, like I said, Kelvin, anything can happen. Expect the unexpected. And as many times as I say that, I did not expect Trick to win here, but Trick Willie wins. And I love Trick, deservedly so. In terms of his ranking and positioning and star power. It's just crazy to see the TNA championship go to an NXT star, but that's why we have these matches. I love the crossover stuff. It's been really fun. I can't believe Joe lost. It stings a little bit, but it's certainly interesting. Double or Nothing was the event of the weekend. Hands down, it was that good, Kelvin. I'm excited to hear your thoughts on Double or Nothing. I did not see Double or Nothing. And again, you guys saying Double or Nothing was fantastic. Wow. In the chat, Patrick Nelson, Kalani Jordan, and Sol Ruka delivered. One thing I will say is that match should have been a little longer. Yeah, I would have liked a little more time on that. Selfishly, that's my style of match. I love the high flying, for sure. And Patrick say, like this video, share and subscribe. That's right. Especially if you're over on YouTube. We're looking for more subs, trying to grow the YouTube channel. Primarily doing our thing on our socials, and we've had a very loyal Facebook following for a while, and we appreciate you guys on socials. Let's get that YouTube going as well. And if you guys are listening to the podcast to this, leave us a 5-star review. You know what? Leave us a review. I don't want to say 5-star. I don't want to force your opinion. You guys tell me. If I deserve 3.5 stars, you give me 3.5 stars. But leave us a review over on Apple Podcasts. That would certainly be helpful. As we move along here, guys, what did you think about? And I'm going to keep it moving a little bit. Let's get into it because I was talking about it. Of course, the Care, Jordan Grace, possible match of the night. It was one of my favorites for sure. This delivered, man. I just loved seeing the two of them, not just the moves and the power moves and the technical wrestling and the high flying ability and the execution, but like their mannerisms, their faces. You could see the frustration from both of them, particularly Jordan. You could see Stephanie Vaquer getting more vicious as the match went on, like stepping it up every time. I really like this, not just the moves, but again, the facials, the little things in between. There was a point where Corey or Vic Joseph said something when she had gone to the top rope, Stephanie, to do the spiral tap. And Vic had something like, oh, we don't see her go up there too often. And I'm thinking in my head, well, she has a spiral tap, which is one of the reasons I thought, oh, wow, like she actually does this move. And that was another thing that really won me over with Stephanie Vaquer, was one of her finishers. She has so many signatures and finishers that are over with the crowd. But I digress. And Corey had said to Vic, oh, she goes to the top rope all the time. So they were kind of like not getting into it on commentary, but they're it was almost like passive aggressive. And then when they were showing the replay of the spiral tap and Stephanie Vaquer hits it, Corey's like, Graves is like, go in there and hits the spiral tap, as she often does, or something. It was like, that was a little silly to me. I was like, I hate it when you get pulled out of the match by some of the banter. And that's just my nitpicky stuff. That was really, really great match. And Kelvin, I picked against. I can't believe it hurt. It hurt me when I did it. I was not going to pick against Stephanie Vaquer. I'm not going to say you talked me into it, Calvin, because I will own my pick here. But we said it's time, and all this main roster stuff got in my head. I'm like, Stephanie's going to go up, so this is where she loses. I said, will this hurt Stephanie if she gets pinned by Jordan Grace? You said no. And I'm like, all right, you know what? I do see it. And this is because Jordan's time. Like, I do feel like she deserves some gold in NXT. No harm, no foul, like you said, Kelvin, in losing to Jordan Grace, handshake. Stuff goes on. But Stephanie wins because she's that good. She's unstoppable. Stephanie Vaquer is unstoppable. I think might be the best wrestler in NXT. Definitely one of my new favorite wrestlers for sure. Really up there. She can do it all. Technical, high flying. There's something very endearing about her. Her work ethic, her story, her background, where she came from. It's the total package, man. And I picked against her, Kelvin. I picked against her. Oh man, and I'm ashamed of myself. I didn't want to pick with my heart. Getting more vicious. I know what I'm doing here, Bill. Come on, man. It's that subtext. It's the subtle nuances the seeds that I plant in the podcast. It's a giant commercial, Bill. You've caught on to me. Good to see you, Bill. Hope you're enjoying a weekend with the family. Great match though between the ladies. The ladies really stole the whole show. Fantastic. I knew Battleground would be great. We had a great match, of course, Hank and Tank. We saw a return in this one. What did you guys think about this 6-person match? Great to see. I kind of want to see more of Hank and Tank on their own, defending these titles. Again, they beat Fraxium. I was shocked to see that, but fun little match here. And great to see a return in this one. And of course, we have to talk about very quickly. I love the story going in this. We see, I almost said soprano. We have Tony D'Angelo and Stax Lorenzo finally going at it. Great little soap opera story going in this one. Sopranos vibes in this one. And we see the return of Luca at the end. Here's some emotion. No Rizzo to be found here. So great storytelling. I want to see where this goes next. Did we hit everything from Battleground? We got of course. How could I forget this? I want to hear what you guys say about this one before we get to Saturday night's main event in the chat. Let's go to the chat real quick before we move on. Real quick, Patrick in the chat. Yes, I was shocked with the outcome of the main event. I really thought Joe Henry was going to retain, but I was wrong. I was happy with Trick Williams. It will create more excitement on the TNA product. Yeah, I'm excited to see Trick on TNA some more and to see him take on that responsibility. A top guy in NXT. I hated that he had short title reigns on NXT, but I think Trick Willie has all the star power, and I'm very excited. We're very high on TNA here on BCP Plus, and I'm excited to see how he carries that championship, being an NXT superstar, that responsibility, that crossover. That's a big part of this deal. That's a big responsibility for Trick, and I think he knows that. And you see the picture of him with the championship and smoking the cigar. Great babyface, great heel, interchangeable. Trick has all the tools. And in the chat on YouTube, Alex Gabby, thank you for watching. If you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button over here on BCP Plus. Tell your friends. Miles Bourne is my new favorite up and coming star. Yeah, I agree. Miles, stole it. We'll get into that one just now. Real quick, let's go to Dan Lehman, our good friend from ISPW on the production, saying, with a WWE star winning the TNA title, do you think there's an implication that WWE eventually acquires TNA? I said this, Dan, when we started the show, and thank you for joining, man. I hope you're enjoying your weekend with your family. Not from a little bit from a business side. I talked about it a little bit. Again, we saw the TNA president at ringside. I basically said, does this hurt Joe Henry? We talked about already, but does this hurt TNA? And you guys let me know your thoughts in the chat. I don't think it does. I think it's, it's just more of that connecting tissue. So we're bringing NXT fans to TNA as Trick is the physical medium of that, bringing that championship over. I'm still shocked at the result. It stings. But Dan specifically asking, with the WWE star winning the TNA title, do you think there's an implication that WWE eventually acquires TNA? I don't look at it like that. I don't think that's what this partnership is about. History is certainly telling. I'm not saying it can't happen. I don't think that's anything that's happening now or soon. I think this is a so far really great partnership. I know there's been opinions about it maybe being one-sided, but at the end of the day, I'm a stats and numbers guy. If the numbers are going up for TNA and NXT, and I think the TNA numbers have been really, really good, and they have a solid roster, something really special about it. I like where it is. I like the partnership. I don't want to see WWE. I'm just reading it, acquiring TNA. I don't want to get into that too much. History tells us, anything can happen. It's certainly not out of the realm of possibility. I don't see that right now. I hope it doesn't happen personally. I like what's going on now, and I did not have Joe to lose, but Trick, deserving champion, and there should be some great storytelling from this. We'll get to the Miles Bourne match in just 1 second. Real quick, George, I haven't seen you in a while. Welcome. Mayo Rob. Joe Henry shouldn't have dropped the title. Okay, George sharing his thoughts. George, it's so good to see you here on social media land anyway, man. Hope you're having a great weekend with your family. Thanks for checking in, man. Saying Joe Henry shouldn't have dropped the title. Yeah, it's interesting. It stung a little bit. Kelvin and I said, no, George, I owe someone a beer because of this whole thing. I did not see it happening. Trick is your new champion. Very deservingly so. Interested to see what this does for TNA moving forward and the character of Joe Henry moving forward. Kelvin K. Lee in the chat. The TNA president being shown in attendance was really interesting. Agree. Knowing that WWE has acquired AAA made this even more interesting. Yeah. Kelvin, you're a little bit more direct than me sometimes. So I think you said it perfectly there. And that's why I need you sometimes. And I don't want to say I sugarcoat, but yeah, you said it better than I did. Jeffrey T. Found WWE, no, but TKO Holdings is sweeping up promotions. Interesting, Jeffrey. Interesting. Like young Vinnie Mac in the 80s when he acquired the company from Papa Vince. Yeah, that's an interesting point. The whole TKO so like WWE is not obtaining TNA, but maybe TKO. Yeah, I can see that. I just hope it's a win-win situation for everyone involved, if that is a thing. It's interesting how storyline we're talking about Trick winning the title, but we're kind of talking about the business implications. And I think that's fair. I think that's fair. Good questions, guys. Great chat. Thank you guys for tuning in. The match was full of emotions between Channing, Stacks and Tony D'Angelo. Yeah, good emotions, good storytelling. I want to see more. I kind of want to see less match stuff and more NXT segments because that's been a lot of fun. More of that Sopranos type stuff. Where's Rizzo in all of this too? Good stuff, guys. Going to the chat, Jeffrey Yeet Fountain in the chat saying Miles gave Oma his best match. That match was good. Let's get to it right now. That match was really good. What did you guys think about Miles Bourne? I'm going to say it right now. I think he's the truth. I think he's the truth, man. His promos delivered. Him winning that battle royal really surprised me. I did not. I think it was Ego, him, and Sean Spears. I did not think the kid was going to win here, but he's really broke out. Great match with the Hardys with his partner Tavion Heights. No Quarter Catch Crew. And man, did he show up? Everyone kind of called him Randy's son or Randy Orton Light or whatever, which is not a diss, as Kelvin and I said. And he showed up, showed out. That drop kick, very like a young Randy. His body type, his movement, very like Randy. That power slam. And you hate making those comparisons because he does have his own stuff. He did the splash off the top. Really good match with Oma. And Oma's facials were actually very good, like acting surprised a lot of that match. I did not think Miles was going to win here, but you got to you take your hats off to Miles Bourne. He did great, man. I'm excited to see more from him. Let's make him a future North American champion. Let's have him climb the ranks till he eventually becomes an NXT champion. I'm along for the ride. What I don't want to say introduction, but what a start here. What a start to an early career of a young Miles Bourne here. Yeah, Kelvin, I don't know enough about that. That did cross my mind. Kelvin saying, hold on, doesn't Endeavor already own Anthem? I think there is some I don't know enough about it. So I think there is connective tissue there. And I don't want to speak out of turn. I think there is some relation there that it did cross my mind when the question was asked. So I don't think you're off base. In the chat, George saying, Timeless Tony Storm has solidified megastar status. Wow. She's one of the best characters, most entertaining of all time. Oh yeah, she's been great. That's Mr. Stephanie Vaquero. Oh, I don't know where you're going with this one. Oh, I know where yes, the rumors that they're dating. Okay. I thought you were talking about me. I was like, what? You're talking about Miles Bourne. Yes. Yes, possibly dude. Miles Bourne is living his best life right now, man, and very well deserved. Patrick Nelson in the chat saying Miles Bourne got potential. Yeah, he's the truth. He really just to have a match with Oba. He didn't look like a chump. He held his own. That drop kick he did about 4 times. But I liked that they were like, oh, he keeps doing the drop kick. Like it was a good drop kick, and they were kind of like, if it works, use it. So commentary really helped there. Stellar splash again. That big Randy Orton-esque. I hate to make the constant comparison. Power slam, but this kid's good in the ring. Real good. Really, really good. Some really good moves. Speaking of good moves, I didn't want to forget, just hit me. Going back to that Saul Ruka Kalani Jordan match, that like quadruple, triple back handspring over the top rope by Saul Ruka. How do you time that? How do you see amazing? Really, really good. In the chat, Jeffrey saying Miles and Steph are dating. Check the gram, bruv. Yes, I don't know if that's confirmed or enough. I've certainly seen some pictures. Kelvin doing the research. Thanks, bro. Let's see what we got. Kelvin looked it up. Endeavor owns the streaming rights to TNA Plus. There's some connective tissues there. Look at you, Kelvin. Good job, man. I appreciate you, man. I'm a facts guy, man. So I like to know the real deal. Really, really good. Thank you, Kelvin. I appreciate that, guys. Again, Battleground, fantastic. If you guys have any other Battleground thoughts, throw them in the chat now. Joe Henry thoughts again. Does this hurt Joe? Does this hurt TNA? Is it a win for TNA? Is it a win for Joe? Again, Kelvin, great point about the TNA president being ringside, kind of like that disdain on his face. I thought that was well done. We got a story to tell here. I'm here for it. I want to see the range from Joe Henry. I want to see how this unfolds on Impact, how the other superstars from TNA react to this. Also, great to see Santana backstage at NXT. The first thing he said, it took me, I want to say 15 It took me X amount of years to get here, to walk through the doors of a WWE establishment, a WWE event, as a pro wrestling superstar. And I love that. And now we get to see Santana on NXT. Guys, again, check out our interview with Mike Santana over on YouTube at BCP Plus or BCP-plus.com. Love Santana. What an inspirational story. All right. George causing trouble in the chat. I'm not going to read that one. Big Soul Ruka fan in the chat. And Patrick also saying real quick before we move on to Saturday Night's main event. Speaking of segment, NXT Backstage is not for the weak. You got to be different breed to survive NXT. Oh, NXT Backstage. I would say getting jumped backstage. I understand what you're saying. Fights break out randomly, and I'm not excited for it. Yeah, a little bit of overuse of the jumping backstage. I think that's all of wrestling. Sometimes I hate. I get what you're saying. Sometimes I hate the wrestling cliches. Sometimes you need it to have a last minute opponent or a new partner. I get what you're saying, Patrick. I like new and different. So there's some cliches, especially the referee stuff. That's kind of like the ref bump stuff is kind of. I'll just say it this way, and this is not a knock on refs or pro wrestling or anything. When I first started getting into wrestling, when I watched all the ref stuff and the ref bumps, and I'm like, how does he not see that? Or like, how is he knocked out? Or blah, blah, blah. And we're so accustomed to it now, like it doesn't really phase us. But the ref stuff is kind of silly. And again, that's not me being disrespectful or anything like that. It's just like I'm so used to it that I remember when I first started watching wrestling, like all the refs looking the other way or getting knocked out. It's I don't want to say it's antiquated because it's a tale as old as time in wrestling, but I don't know. I want more creative ways to do that, I think, moving forward. And that's just me being picky. Real quick. Eli on Facebook, dude, thanks so much for joining. Welcome, Eli. Thanks for letting us know your opinion. Battleground was a solid show. Kind of wish Jordan Grace won instead of losing 2 straight. Yeah. Where does Jordan go from here? And again, I'm a big Stephanie Vicaire proponent. She's unstoppable. I thought by now Jordan would get some gold in NXT. Hasn't yet. Joe Henry said that she had paved the way kind of for him from TNA to NXT. So got to give Jordan her flowers, but losing 2 straight. And Tony and Stacks is far from over. Eli, thanks for checking in. If you can head over to our YouTube channel, you can watch as well. BCP Plus, give us a subscribe over there. Check out our interviews with Mike Santana, Joe Henry, the Hardys, Johnny Gargano, Nia Jackson, a lot more. And Patrick saying, okay, you're saying you are excited. So you like the chaos backstage. I like that for NXT. No problem, Patrick. And thank you for sticking around. We appreciate it. Love all your takes. Guys, let's go to Saturday night's main event. Let's talk about it. And I keep stealing Trick Williams' phrase here. R-Truth, John Cena. Truth comes out, of course, with the Ron Cena gear. They had the Ron Cena shirts. He comes out. Great job doing all John Cena's moves. Something interesting here. We saw how this ended, but the distraction with the title. But in that moment, I wanted a little bit more. We saw a little bit more seriousness from Truth. I loved his promo on SmackDown. Kelvin said he wanted to see the more serious Truth. I think we got a little bit more of that. But then he comes out dressed as John Cena still. Ron Cena, he does all Cena's moves. But in that moment where Cena takes the championship and he's thinking about hitting Truth, and the fans kind of like, I don't know if they're saying no, help me out here, guys. The fans are kind of against it, obviously. They're behind Truth, which we want. I said there were going to be Truth chants, and I think it was Let's Go Truth, actually. But I knew the fans were going to get behind Cena. And when that moment when John Cena has the belt and he's about to hit him, the fans are like, no, no, no. And you see John kind of, and we know what happened, but John kind of looking around and like listening to the fan and looking at Ron, like almost having second thoughts. Now, this was completely an act because of what had happened. I decided not to do it. The ref goes for the belt, and then he just bam, low blow to Ron, takes over and wins. But you could think of the psychology either way here. Like maybe John really did have that moment of like, ooh, maybe he's still in there. He's there to save John. I was like also like in the save Cena signs, kind of like save Ferris, right? I was like in that save Cena. If that becomes like a hashtag or a movement, I'm paying attention to that because I do feel like there's a redeeming arc for Cena in December at the end of this. If that was a hint of that, and again, I think Cena was just acting within acting, obviously, but acting being like, hesitate, throws it down. The ref gets a belt, low blow. So obviously his intentions were not good. Maybe he, it seems that he didn't really hesitate. It just seemed like that was an act. But anyway, in that scene, if you will, he's holding the title, the fans are around, and he's looking around, and you kind of see like it's the facials of John Cena that's make him so great. But it was almost like he heard the fans in that moment. It was almost like he had regret in that moment. I'm not saying he did, because again, it seemed like a ploy. Maybe there was a little bit, I don't know, but I feel like that's going to be what we see as we get closer to December. Not anytime soon, but as we get closer to December, we're going to have that moment where the fans try to get him back. We have those moments where he snaps out of this and he's like, what am I doing? Or like, that's my friend on the other side of the ring. Or like, maybe this isn't right. And I think there is going to be a redemption for John Cena. Is he just going to go out being a heel? Maybe he's going to go out just putting Cody over or someone over and let them have the spotlight. And it's not going to be about John Cena's redemption. I think it is going to be a redemption story. He's taken us on this ride. I think it's been really great. I think it's been a lot of fun. It's interesting. It's different. Let's go to the chat real quick. What did you guys think? And great showing. Great to see the spotlight more on Ron in ring, who's absolutely brilliant. I said Ron, R-Truth. Ron Cena entrance, absolutely fantastic. Yeah, it was great. It's great. In the chat, Patrick Nelson, it excites me. Perfect example, Stephanie Vicaire and JC Jane fight break out. Okay, you're talking about the backstage fight. Okay, and NXT, gotcha. George saying Cena's Truth was really well done. Yeah, pretty quick. I wish Truth had a little bit more, but it was what it needed to be. The storytelling was there. Eli in the chat, thanks for sticking around. Eli, Truth should have won since it was a non-title match, then got squashed in a rematch. Yeah, Kelvin said maybe Truth would win here with the title on the line in Night of Champions June 28th in Saudi. Yeah, maybe. George in the chat, he's saying it's the second time now Cena is showing regret. Okay, remind me of the first, if you don't mind, George, because I like those little nuances. I like those things, and I'm trying to think, and I'm sure I know what it is. There's so much wrestling, bro. Refresh my memory on that. I want to see more of that. The fans are on this ride. Not the first time he's had that second thought. Dan saying the same thing. There's cracks showing. So Dan and George, if you guys could give me another example, I think you guys are onto something. I'm trying to remember maybe it was a press conference, maybe it was during a match. Patrick is saying, I think Jordan Grace can challenge for the North American title. And then have her chase the NXT Women's Champ. Either way, she's going to be champ. Yeah, I'm surprised she hasn't held NXT Gold yet. For sure, guys. Good stuff. I'm glad you guys are with me on the Cena thing. And again, if you guys have an example for me, that would be fantastic. I love the stuff with Cena right now, just the storytelling aspect. Real quick, Drew, Priest. I think the story became more about not even Priest walking out of the cage, but Jesse Ventura's commentary on that. First of all, Gina, I know Damian Priest is your guy, so I'm so glad Damian Priest won. And they were kind of saying it like Damian kind of just walked out as kind of like almost like insult to injury kind of a thing. And Ventura would not let it go on commentary, which I thought was great. You know what? He just walks out. Like, why does he just have the limo pull up and get him? So it's like that old school mentality. It was highly entertaining. And Cole was trying to I don't want to say reel him in. That's disrespectful, but Cole was trying to like navigate it, I guess. And Pat was doing his thing a little bit. So that was really, really interesting. Look, these two have fought each other a million times. It's interesting to see who gets the payoff here. Seemingly Damon, I think this is over, right? Maybe it's not because he walked out of the cage. But again, two great WWE superstars. Excited to see what's in their future. Sami Zayn and CM Punk taking on the Evolution 2.0. What are we calling this group? Let me know, guys. I'm very interested to see what you guys think. And of course, lots going on there. Real quick, I hit the chat. Oh, okay. Eli in the chat. Okay, this is coming back to me. He said the first time Cena showed regret was at Backlash against Orton. What was the moment or interaction? Was it during the match? I take it. Patrick saying Saturday night was epic. Yeah, Saturday night's main event was good. Dan, you the man. No pun intended. At Backlash, the crowd showed appreciation as Cena left the ring. He paused and had that look where he was feeling. I love this stuff, guys. Eli, Dan, great. George, piggybacking here, say, yeah, it was a Backlash. He had the second thought hitting portion with the belt. Okay, so same kind of thing with Truth. Really good. Thank you, George. Thank you, Dan. Thank you, Eli. Good stuff. Real quick, Eli saying a decent cage match. Wish it was the classic blue cage. Yeah, that would have been the spot for the blue cage. Why not? That's a great point. Hopefully they end the feud. Everything else was retro. Hopefully they end the feud in a last man stand. Yeah, you're right. I think it will go to a last man stand. They fought so many times though, but yeah, it might be a last man standing match, and either guy could win. Jeffrey in the chat, Saturday night's main event was kind of mid, unless you're really into commercial. There were a lot of commercials. I'll give you that. It was a solid show. It was fun, entertaining. Also, I don't have the graphic because we didn't have it on our prediction show. Chelsea Green and Zelina Vega, solid match, shorter. We saw the kind of like the 619. It wasn't the initial 619. I don't think she got all of it. She did like a little, and I'm not placing blame or anything, but there was like a little kick after it. And I think that got Chelsea, and that's what may or may not have broken her nose. And I said, this is like the third time a broken nose thing has come up on the podcast. We talked about Becky's broken nose moment, and I was saying something along the lines of Lyra needed a moment like that. Sure enough, it looked like Lyra got cracked in the nose or an orbital bone or something in her last, I think it was at Backlash. So I was like, oh, this is my fault. So now Chelsea essentially breaks her nose. But again, I love they got that shot of her, because if anyone knows how to lean into something like that, it's Chelsea Green. So she can make lemonade out of this thing. Like, it's going to be really, really good. This is only going to serve her. But I mean, first of all, hope she's okay. Obviously, I hope she's okay. Hope she's doing well. Hope her nose feels better. But she's gonna milk this thing. It's gonna be highly entertaining for the fans. I think it's gonna be highly beneficial for her. We said it in our interview with her. I still think she's a future WWE Women's Champion. I will stick to that statement. Check out our interview with Chelsea Green over at bcp-plus.com or BCP Plus on YouTube. Real quick, Dan in the chat, he's saying the blue cage would have been awesome. Yeah, I agree with that. That would have been a nice touch. It's the little things. And again, real quick, we are talking about taking it to, what did you guys think? Sami Zayn, Punk taking on Seth Rollins, and of course, Braun Breaker in this match with Paul Heyman. I thought Punk looked particularly good in this match. He was moving a lot better. We've been obviously very critical of Punk on this podcast. I almost feel bad sometimes over the years, but he looked really good. Punk looked really good in this match. He was moving quick. He looked like $1 million. Sammy doing his thing. Sammy's, again, emotional. I'm so glad they didn't turn Sammy. We were kind of thinking, oh, is Sammy going to join this group after all? He's going to turn because he doesn't need to fight Jay at some point. Do we need to turn Sammy? Please don't turn Sammy, man. Even his emotions here were great, man. His concern when he was yelling at Punk, he was like, Punk, Punk. And then he got attacked, speared by Braun, I think it was. So just the little things by Sammy. Great facials, and great move that backwards, I don't even want to call it a springboard, that set down springboard backwards to the outside. Really good. Chelsea to the moon, he's saying. Yeah, push Chelsea to the moon. That's it. I agree. But what did you guys think about Bronson Reed, of course, joining up? And it seemed like Braun Breaker didn't know, Braun and Bronson. It seemed like he didn't know like that was going to happen. And Seth kind of like made them shake hands, and they're all standing tall. I was like, okay, because they've all had history, or Seth Rollins and Braun particularly. You see the four of them, and then Punk trying to get in after that. So what do you guys think about Bronson Reed in that fourth spot, this Evolution 2.0, whatever we're going to call it? This group needs a name, first of all. It needs to be a good name. I think this could go the distance. It could be the real deal. I mean, you have a ton of talent. Seth, arguably the best wrestler on Raw. And then you got two of the hottest up and comers, freak athletes, and then one of the best managers of all time in Paul Heyman. Give this group a solid name. I think Bronson Reed is a perfect fit for this group. And guys, last but not least, thanks for sticking around. We hope you enjoy the rest of the day with your family on this Memorial Day. Let's take it to, of course, main event, Jey Uso defending his World Heavyweight Championship against Logan Paul here. And guys, solid match, exactly what I expected, but I did not expect to see John Cena pop up here. I'm sitting here, I must have missed the segment. Cole, and I'll give Cole his props here. Great job by Cole explaining to me what was happening. Cole essentially goes on the mic and says, hey, there was an interaction, I guess, and guys, correct me here. I guess Cena had an interaction with Jay, essentially along the lines of saying that he was going to have a YouTuber. He was going to make it so a YouTuber in Logan Paul won the title, something along those lines. So that's why Cena got involved. The unexpected return of Cody. What do you guys think about Cody coming back? Is it too soon? I'll give Cody credit, man. He's worked his you-know-what off for years. past 3-4 years, whatever it is, outside of that one pec injury. He deserves a long break, and he's come back already. He loves it. He knows he's in his wrestling prime, as he said. I don't know if it's his decision to come back or the office's decision for him to come back, but it's great to see Cody back. He basically said, Cena, you've ruined wrestling enough. I'm here to stop that. We get a great tag team match out of that. So this is win-win-win. I got to give Cody props for coming back. What feels early, not to say he needed to go away, but the man deserved a break, a long break. And to see him come back and continue to give the pro wrestling business, even before he went back to WWE, is all the credit, all the props to Cody Rhodes. In the chat, Dan saying, Bronson, I think, starts to give this traction. Seth Braun needed a third man. Yeah, you needed a lot of people saying perhaps Becky to the group as well. We'll see. It feels complete, though. Again, give them a good name. Eli in the chat, if Rollins, Breaker, and Bronson had a fourth member, not Heyman. Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. So, like, Heyman, that's a good point, Eli. They could be the Apocalypse unless you could use the Four Horsemen. Oh, I don't know and that's interesting, Eli. I don't like the reusing the names. Four Horsemen, I don't think you should touch, but Apocalypse, that's interesting. I don't know if that's been done in the pro wrestling national world. That's very, very interesting. Good stuff, guys. You guys are keeping the chat going. I'll give you guys a minute or two if you have any thoughts on Cena coming in and Cody returning. Jay obviously retains here. Really fun Saturday night's main event. So good to see Cody back. I'm glad to see we're going to get this tag match at Money in the Bank, so I don't think we'll see Cena on TV too much until then. I don't know what his dates are. I don't know if you guys have it. We got about 22, 21 dates left. I'll say for Cena, I'm going to guess we're going to get 10 or so matches, if that, probably less than. So it'll be interesting to see who he faces. Will that Joe Henry match happen? What will the last match be? Perhaps in Boston in December. It'll be very, very interesting to see. But really fun wrestling weekend. I hope everyone got to spend some time with their family, watch some pro wrestling, have some good eats. And thank you guys for watching. I know it's everyone's day off, so I hope everyone had the day off. And thank you guys for chiming in. This has been a super fun chat. Real quick, Dan in the chat saying, I don't know if it's a good fit, Seth Group, but like a new NWO, that's interesting. Do you touch NWO? That's interesting. That's something I feel more so than the Horsemen that could be revisited. Do you guys want like reboots of these teams? Is that what you guys want? That's interesting. That's kind of actually before my time as a fan. Eli in the chat, real quick, Cody's return was needed, but they could have saved it for tonight's Raw. Yeah, they could have saved it for Raw, and I'm sure we'll see him on Raw tonight, but there's a little bit of gravitas to the Saturday night's main event. And Cena was there. Cena was there too. I don't know. Will Cena be at Raw? But good thought, Eli. I like the added twist of Cena and Cody getting in the mix. It adds uncertainty to the title picture. Yes. That was another thing I like that's a Money in the Bank match too. Thank you for saying that, Dan, because we have these two big ladder matches and we don't need the World Heavyweight Championship title defended and the WWE title defended on those shows. I like that those big titles are both in a tag match. I think that's good. We have 4 really big stars. That's cool. I like that. Really, really well said, Dan. And that just made me think about that. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in today. I'm going to go eat some dinner with the current girlfriend. And guys, thank you so much for tuning in. If you guys get a minute, check out Bob Culture Podcast. It's still up as Bob Culture Podcast over on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Leave us a 5-star review. If you don't think I'm good, leave me a 3.5-star review. But the 5 stars certainly do help. Let us know how we're doing. If you guys didn't get a chance yet, please go over to BCP Plus on YouTube. We're trying to grow the YouTube channel. I have some stellar indie wrestling matches. I have a lot of interviews with the likes of Joe Henry, the Hardys, Johnny Gargano, Nia Jax, Chelsea Green, Kofi Kingston, and some of your favorite independent wrestlers here as well. We're going to have a lot of stellar content as we plan on covering TNA Slammiversary. SummerSlam is coming to town as well. We want to be all over that. Kelvin in the chat saying, great show. Thanks for watching, man. Thanks for helping me out, Kelvin, from the chat, man. I need you, man. I appreciate it. I hope you're having a good day with your family. Thank you again for your service. Kelvin saying, great show. Good luck on the negotiations. I need all the help I can get. Guys, thanks so much for tuning in. And like we always say here, let's cue up the ads here. Like we always say here on BCP, everyone stay safe, stay positive, take care of each other. We out. Peace. BCP is brought to you by our favorite store, Funkenstein Wrestling Superstore, located in the Englishtown Flea Market in New Jersey from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. Saturdays and Sundays, and online at FunkensteinWrestlingSuperstore.com. Get your favorite wrestling merch, retro video games, Ninja Turtles, Ghostbusters, G.I. Joe, so much more. It's our favorite store. Thank you, Heather and Dan, for sponsoring the BCP. Also got to welcome back our sponsors, the No Gimmicks Podcast, the podcast that keeps it 100% real 100% of the time. Check out our guy Kelvin, only on the No Gimmicks Podcast. Wrestling All Day, All Night is the best wrestling discussion group on Facebook. We provide more of a community feel here, and have wrestling fans introduce other fans to something they may not have seen before, such as old school wrestling, indie wrestling, Japanese wrestling, and so much more. We also strive to be a source of information regarding upcoming wrestler meet and greets and signings. And remember, we're open 24/7, all day, all night. Be sure to follow on socials and join the group on Facebook at Wrestling All Day, All Night. Welcome back our sponsor, Sweet Chin Musings. Sweet Chin Musings is the creation of the reigning, rarely defending, highly disputed champion of wrestling podcast, Mr. Perfect, Mike Mueller, and his tag team partner in crime, Luke Kudialis. SCM focuses on the in-ring product of WWE and AEW, no dirt sheet rumors here, as well as backstage news, predictions, and analysis of characters, storylines, and major pay-per-views. Old school fans, don't worry, we have you covered as well, with a look back on classic matches, top 10 lists, and interactive tournaments that let the fans decide who is truly the best of all time. You can find them at Facebook at Sweet Chin Musings, and check out the podcast on all major podcast platforms. Please welcome back our sponsors on the BCP Plus and the podcast, GPW Productions. GPW provides your promotion or event with top-tier video, audio production, live streaming, and more. I can personally vouch for them in saying they are hands down the best production company I've ever worked with, as they have and continue to work with the likes of AEW, GCW, StarCast, MLW, not to mention the majority of the local independent promotions here in the tri-state area. They can even help you film a vignette or promo for your persona or gimmick. And guess what? GPW doesn't just work in wrestling. No, they cover MMA, boxing, basketball, or any other sporting event as well. On a personal note, I'd like to thank Mike Sesko, Frank Leone, O'Neil Andros, and the team for giving me multiple opportunities to work with them and some of the best talent in the world. Thank you, GPW, and guys, book GPW for your promotion or event today at contact@gpwproductions.com. Please welcome back one of our favorite sponsors, Mania Club. Established in 2015, Mania Club is a WWE-recognized community for fans with an eclectic love for both the world of professional wrestling and raising money for Connor's Cure. During WrestleMania weekend, we host the official tailgate of WrestleMania while also celebrating the life of Connor McCollum. They are the single largest donor within the V Foundation for Connor's Cure, with over $150,000 raised. Please donate and join the Facebook group over at Mania Club on Facebook. Donate at jimmyv.org/Mania Club. Guys, please welcome in our new pod sponsor for the months of May and June, J. Adam Photography. Jay provides quality, artistic, innovative photography with a quick turnaround time. Be sure to check out his latest ISPW wrestling pics and much more stellar content. Right now, wrestlers can do a special portrait shoot with Jay in Sparta, New Jersey for just $50. Contact Jay at Jay Vogel on Facebook and be sure to follow him across socials. Thank you, Jay, for sponsoring the BCP. Guys, let's welcome in our new pod sponsor, Cooper Groove Grips. When you play Cooper Groove drumsticks, you get increased sensory feedback from your hands, so your grip will naturally loosen, but you have complete control. With that taking place, you don't have fatigue and soreness, which can lead to long-term issues. Guys, as a drummer, Cooper Groove is my drumstick of choice. Sweaty hands aren't a problem. Grip is good. Don't forget to check out their amazing Cooper Groove bats coming out soon. Guys, follow at Cooper Groove Grips on Facebook. Guys, please welcome in our new podcast sponsors, ISPW Weekly, where we dive deep into the world of ISPW, the crossroads of professional wrestling. Join Jumpin' Jay and Total with Tom every week as they interview the stars of the ring, uncover their stories, rivalries, and the electrifying action that defines ISPW. Be sure to check out ISPW Weekly on the ISPW Facebook page every week. Please welcome in our new pod and daily site sponsor, Twisted Shamrock Studios and Spa, located in Delaware County, Pennsylvania. Twisted Shamrock is a retro spa experience for the average Joe and Jane. Meet the next evolution of recovery and relaxation. Right now, you can try their introductory offer, where you can try a core service to include massage, skincare, facial, stretch therapy, body slimming, toning, personal training, and spray tanning for 30 minutes for just $30. This is perfect for our wrestling pals as well. Book today. Call 484-574-8868 or visit www.twistedshamrockstudiospa.com. Guys, please welcome back our returning podcast sponsor, USDN. USDN Podcast is run by USDN Chairman and the Council of Nerds. We bring you all the latest news and rumors from the world of nerds and consolidate it right here at the U.S. Department of Nerds. USDN is for the people, by the people, and of the people. Follow them at facebook.com/US Department of Nerds. Guys, please welcome in our new pod sponsor for 2025, the Ropes and Riffs Podcast, featuring Maestro John Kiernan speaking with the stars of professional wrestling about their in-ring, tunage, gear, and so much more. Check out John's interviews with the likes of Lince Dorado, Mercedes Martinez, and so much more. Find the Ropes and Riffs Podcast on all major podcast platforms. Guys, please welcome in our new podcast sponsor, EM Collectibles, featuring live signings, collectibles, toys, and more. Be sure to follow them on Facebook and stay tuned for their upcoming events. Upcoming events right now, March 8th, Hernando Toy and Comic Show, the Hernando County Fairgrounds live signing with Super Crazy. March 22nd, Neg Dog Championship Wrestling presents Music and Mayhem in Hudson, Florida with special guest Super Crazy. March 29th and 30th, 2025 Syracuse Collectors Con in Syracuse, New York with Bill Alfonso, Gary Wolf, and the quintessential stud muffin Joel Gertner, March 30th only. April 5th, New England Fan Fest, and we'll have Buff Bagwell. April 13th, 2025, our premiere show, Bring Back the Memories Toy Show, and May 10th, our renowned 90s Wrestling Con in Morristown, New Jersey, guest to be named soon. BCP is sponsored by Warriors of Wrestling. Saturday, May 10th at Most Precious Blood Church in Brooklyn, New York, featuring former TNA superstar James Storm. Also featuring The Allfather, Darius Carter, Danny Moff, Chris Steeler, TJ Marconi, Warriors champ Roger Mendez, Danny Storm, Mike Titello, and a whole lot more. Get your tickets now at warriorsofwrestling.com. BCW and Shadow Wrestling Alliance present Anniversary 8, a Jurassic celebration honoring the life of Vince Steele.